Hi guys, it's Brookelynne and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be another Let's Talk, and this one is about 5 things that scares me about becoming a parent to a human child. Now, you may know if you watch my channel that I do have 2 Frenchies and I call them my kids and that sad dog mum, but I'm about to become a mum to a human child, so yeah. And even though I am really excited for it, and there's a lot of things I'm excited about becoming a mum, naturally there's some things, well, quite a few things that kind of terrify me, and I think I'm not alone in that boat. A lot of people, especially first time mums, first time dads, first time parents, do find the whole journey, especially before the child arrives, or when the child arrives as well, I do find the whole journey scary. Even seasoned parents do as well, but especially the first time ones. And I'm no exception. I can't even say that proper word. I'm no exception. There you go. I'm just here to talk about the 5 things that do worry me and why and everything like that, and just to have a real chat. So number 1 is I do worry, what will my kid turn out like? What will my son, my child, if people don't like the word my kid, I just say my kid or my child, my son, right, you know what I mean. So what will my kid turn out like? I do worry, will I have any sort of like disabilities, because I do registered blind. I've got like a severe sight impairment, so I'm not like people think, oh, you're completely blind. I'm not. I'm severely visually impaired. I've got some sight, but I use it really well. But obviously I have struggles day to day dealing with the world with my eyesight, and I do worry, will my child, even though my child probably most likely won't pick up my condition, but there is other conditions that they could pick up. With me, I do also have ADHD, and my husband, he's got high functioning mild autism. I've got traits of that too, so we're kind of a mixed bag here, but that shouldn't stop us from becoming parents. But I do worry that it's not so much to pick up a mild form of like ADHD or autism, because that could be easily kind of helped. Do you know what I mean? It could be, there's things that, even if they have a severe form, but it's more difficult. But if they take like a severe form of autism or severe form of like a severe disability of any type, I do worry, what will life be like for them, even though I'll always love them and be there for them, and so will my husband, his dad. I'll always be there for my son, but I do worry, like, how will he cope? And because obviously there's people in this world who just look down on people who have disabilities, and the world isn't set up for that. It's pretty much like crap, do you know what I mean? And I worry, how will I cope with my child being severely disabled, even though there's support in place, but it's a fight to get that. And I worry because I have my own disabilities and my own limitations to deal with, my own needs, and they don't switch off when you have a child. It'd be amazing if they did switch off and I was able to have a child and be like no disabilities and a fully able-bodied person. I would have had a child at 16 if that was the case, but it isn't. But I do worry, what if my child has a severe form of like autism, severe form of learning disability, severe form of anything. It's not so much the milder forms, because it's, they're, I'm not going to say easier, but they are, compared to the severe ones, they are easier to kind of manage. And I'm sorry if that comes across as wrong, and yeah, but I'm just trying to explain it the best way I can. And with adding my disabilities on top of that, I don't know if I'd be able to cope, especially if I didn't get that support in place to help. I don't know if I would be able to cope with a child like that, and that sounds horrible, God forgive me, but I'm just being real here. Because of my own disabilities, and add, like, say for instance, like like, say for instance severe autism, they're likely to have behavioural problems too, and a worry, what will, like, how will I handle that, and them not understanding, like say for instance they run off, they get into trouble, they run off when I'm out and about with them, they're not understanding mummy can't see if you go too far away, and having that stress, and especially they have like the behavioural violent problems, like being violent and being like wrecking the house or being disruptive and not sleeping. I don't think I can cope with that, and I'm just being absolutely real. I know that sounds horrible, but if my child did end up like that, I would have to put, either if I didn't get the help from the right authorities, I would have to put them into a residential care home and still take them out. But I just have to take into consideration my needs, my husband's needs, and the needs of the child, and also the needs of the two dogs too, because they matter as well. And people may think your child should become as more important. I do get that, but they're important too. And I'm praying to God my child's doesn't end up like that, but it is one of them things that does give me anxiety, it does scare me, and I'm just gonna have to trust God. That's what I'm doing, I'm trusting God. I'm a Christian, by the way, that we won't have a child like that, and if we did, we'll get the right help for them and for us. So yeah, that's one of the main biggest scare. Like, I suppose everyone has that chance of having a child like that, not just people who have disabilities. Everyone has that chance of having the child. Like when you do get pregnant, you decide to have a child, there's always a chance something like that could happen, always. And touch wood, every scan I've had, like all my scans, there's been no issues with my son. He's been completely healthy, so there's no kind of, what they can see is physical disabilities, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be like likes of autism, severe learning difficulties or disabilities and stuff like that. Doesn't mean they're not present. So yeah, and with that, like I said about the chance of, there's always that chance of everyone, but because autism and ADHD run in my family and my husband's family, there's that higher risk, and that scares me too. I know people may be saying, well, you shouldn't have got pregnant, you should have been like, deal with not having kids, and I do get that, but I've always wanted to be a mum, and we took that chance anyway. So yeah, but also it's able-bodied parents of severely disabled kids, or even mildly disabled kids, they struggle. So add parents with disabilities, their own difficulties and disabilities to deal with, and then add on top of them having the stress of a severely disabled, especially severely disabled child to look after, then there's just, it's just like seems like disaster. And there should be more help out there for families and stuff, there should. So that's number one, and I've kind of went into that a lot. And then number two is a bit of a selfish reason, but I suppose, I don't know, like a lot of parents, mums especially get this, is losing myself, like losing my identity. And that does sound selfish, because just because you have a child doesn't mean you can't be yourself anymore. Obviously things change and you have to kind of put that child first, but you also have to still look after yourself. I do worry, will I still be able to do the things I love, like YouTube, and still be able to go out and meet friends? I can still do that and bring the child with me, but, and even have my son, my child minded for like a wee girls' night or something like that, or date night or anything. And I do worry, will I lose that part of myself? And I worry, like, will I be able to still, like, a sounds stupid, get my hair done as much as I want and go on walks. Obviously I'll take the child walking with me, but it's more like do things like that help me mentally, because with me, like, self-care isn't selfish, and some people may think, well, that's vain, that's selfish. It's not. See, this is the thing. A lot of people especially put on pressure on mums that they have to be perfect and have to just not, like, just throw anything about themselves to the side and look after that child. They have to kind of sacrifice looking after themselves to look after that child. But in reality, you can't do that. You have to look after yourself in order to be able to look after other people. And I do worry, like, if I couldn't do, like, things to help myself mentally and help myself physically, I wouldn't be the best mum for my son. I just wouldn't. And that people may think, oh, that's selfish, you're vain. But then see things like getting a little bit of time to myself, doing wee things like that, like getting my hair done, going for a walk, like getting a nice peaceful shower, and just wee self-care things, meeting up with friends, going on the odd night out. That helps me physically and mentally, and also like going to the gym too, doing workouts, that helps both. And if I'm not able to do them at all, I wouldn't cope, just simple as. And I think that's one thing that scares me losing myself. And I do, like, partly me doing myself up is, it is therapy for me. And I do like to kind of look my best, and it makes me feel the best. But I think like doing self-care is a coping mechanism for me. It is. In a way, it started when I started doing the makeup and all. In a way, it was something I've always loved, but also it was something that sounds a bit ridiculous to say, but it kind of helped me hide disabilities, which I shouldn't. I don't really use it that much for that anymore, a little bit, but I suppose I use like these things like self-care and to make myself feel better still, but it isn't like the main goal is to hide my disabilities. But I do worry me not being myself anymore when I have my son, and not being happy, and I do worry what if I get postnatal depression and stuff like that, because if I wasn't able to do that anymore, like have that bit of time to myself. Obviously I'm not going to be all about myself, I'm still going to look after the child, but it's important to have some time to look after yourself when you're a parent, and you need to in order to look after the child and be the best parent you can be. And if I wasn't able to do that, like do we things like that, I wouldn't be the best parent, and my child doesn't deserve a bad version of himself. My son doesn't deserve a broken version of himself, he deserves the best version of himself. And that goes for his dad too, and I want him to still be able to carry on doing his fitness and doing the wee things like he enjoys, because we're gonna help each other out by doing something like if I can speak, we're gonna help each other out. Say for instance, oh, I wanna go for a wee walk myself. My husband would be like, okay, I could take the child for half an hour, you have a walk, or you go to the gym. Or then my husband, he wants to go run. Oh, I can take the child while you go for a run, or better still, I could take the child and walk when you run, that type of thing. Or he wants to just have we half an hour to play in the game, take a child with me upstairs, whatever, and work it round, or have like a family member or friend look after the child while we go on a date night. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's just how we'll kind of deal with that. But it is a real fear. And number 3 is also my child navigating this modern world, because things have changed since I was a kid. Like social media wasn't a thing until I became like a teenager, or like a pre-teen teenager, I would say teenager. And even back then things were hard, and from what I've heard, being a kid these days is worse than being a kid back in my day, or back in my parents' days or whatever. Like, well, I suppose every generation has had its struggle, but I mean, with the instance of like this modern day, and I do worry what if my child gets bullied and then they can't escape it when they get home? Like, say for instance they're a teenager and my wee son, I keep on saying my son, and he gets Facebook. I won't be allowed to have any social media until he's mature enough. That's just the way it is. For me, it's around 13 or so, but I'll be monitoring it. If it made any sense, I'll be checking it and making sure. But with kids these days, if there's bullying going on, back in the day it would have stayed at school, but now because of social media they're getting bullied online, and I do worry, especially because the kids don't have there's no excuse for bullying, but they have kind of a thing they can pick at my son. They could say, if they find out like me and my husband have disabilities, they can say, oh, your parents are like not nice words for people who have disabilities, and tease my son over that, which would be heartbreaking. And if any child did that, they have me the answer to. Just saying. But I do worry, like, this modern day, the pressure of like being a child in this day and age. I've heard stories and I wouldn't want to. I'm glad I'm not a child now. I'm glad I grew up when I did. Just saying that. But I do worry, especially this world we're living in, with my son having to grow up in that. Even though I have like me and my husband, and I have like family and friends, but I do worry it's not going to be the same childhood that me and my husband got, and it's kind of sad. But I suppose a lot of parents have that worry as well. And then number 4 is how, like, will my son be able to fit in and be successful in his own kind of chosen career or chosen sport, chosen something. Like, say for instance when you're a child, will my child be able to fit in and be happy in school? I do worry about that too. Happy and able to do what he would like, obviously within reason. It wouldn't be like lenient on things that like are bad for his safety and stuff like that. But I mean, what I mean by if he wanted to go into swimming, or he wanted to go into a sport, or wanted to join a club, will he be able to do it and be happy? Or whatever he feels, and he really loved that and he can't do it anymore, and he realised it, and it wrecks his self-esteem. But I have to also think, and that goes for like jobs and courses and all and everything, and I do worry, will he be happy in life, that kind of thing. Like, just generally, not just with the whole what he wants to do, but will he be happy in life? I do worry, what if he won't, and what if he struggles badly, and especially if he has a disability and has to deal with the world with a disability, which is not easy. I do worry, like, will he struggle with the same things I did? So it's supposed like a genuine worry parents have too. So number 4 is will my son be like difficult as a baby? Will he, I do worry, like, will he be like a high needs baby where he has to be constantly held and he screams and placed down constantly? Now I know babies cry, it's just a normal thing, and yeah, babies just cry, it's just their way of communicating. But I mean the extent where it's not normal, like colic, or they have like like they're really highly sensitive kids or babies, and it's the point where it's putting a lot of pressure on me and my husband, because we can't put him down, even though there's times when we'll have to put him down whether he's crying or not. Like, I wouldn't feel, say if the baby were like baby wears or baby slings, I would try them out, but I wouldn't feel comfortable walking around in public with them on, or doing cooking or cleaning with them on, because I can be quite clumsy, and with my eyesight too, I need to use all the eyesight I have. So when I need to get something done and he's not settling, I'm going to have to put him down whether he's crying or not to get something done. And people may be thinking, that's terrible. But see, if you have to put your child down if they're crying, and you just literally have to get away from it for a wee 15 minutes, and it's not the end of the world, it's the best thing to do. But I do worry, like, will my son be high needs and he just can't cope, like he's a really difficult baby? Because I always, my husband always say, like, if he's a difficult baby, say for instance, especially I have a difficult birth of him, which touch wood, I won't have a difficult birth and he won't be a bit difficult baby. It'll be hopefully easy and an easy birth. But I always say to my husband, if he's a difficult baby, difficult child, and the birth's difficult, he'll be an only child, and there's nothing really wrong with having an only child. That's a thing. Like, in a perfect world I'd love to, but if I only have my son, and including also with dogs too, have one human child and have plenty, well, over the years, plenty of dogs, then I'm happy. But if I have two, then that's cool too, I'm happy as well. But I do worry, what if he's high needs, and with people like tend to, like this day and age, like everyone just expected just to be in only bubbles and just get on with things, whereas back in the day, like, there was a lot of community support, there was more that village about, and that kind of goes into reason number 5 too. But the high needs baby definitely, and the high needs child definitely worries me, because I'm like, well, what if he's like that his whole life and at the sign of something serious is going to happen, like something's going to get diagnosed when he's older, do you know what I mean? So number 5, which I was going to get into now, is the village not being there for me and my husband, even though I know it will be. But back in the day, I think it's the same kind of worry for a lot of parents too. Back in the day when you had kids and all, there was a saying, and it still is true, no matter what, it takes a village to raise a child, and that is so true. Raising a child isn't meant to be just down to one or two, especially one person. I don't believe one person can single-handedly raise a child for however long it takes to raise that child. It takes 2 people, like 2 main parents, and some help from other people. That's my belief. Like, I could never be a single parent. No, I couldn't do it. I would never want to be a single parent. And I'm not like saying that to shame other single mums, single dads. My hat goes off to you, because from what I've heard, it's bloody difficult. But that's why, like, I do believe it takes at least 2 people, also with some help, to raise a child. And it's even more so the case for me and my husband with our son, because of like the disabilities we do have. We'll need a bit more support than the average person, and that's okay. And people may be thinking or saying in the comments, well, don't have a child in if you can't cope. And I do get that aspect too, but it does, even no matter what you have, what you don't have, it does take a village to raise a child. Like, when you're sending them to school, the teachers are basically raising them too. When you send them to the after school clubs, they're getting looked after by leaders. And we send them like to their granny and granders or whatever. The granny and granders are basically kind of taking like a role in raising a child. When you send them to their friend's house for sleepover, then they're kind of, do you know what I mean? And that's a normal, healthy thing. Like, kids aren't just meant to be stuck in the house all the time, and parents aren't meant to be stuck in the house all the time. Kids are meant, that's how kids and all thrive, and they thrive in a village. Everyone, like, God created humans to be a community, do you know what I mean? A community of people of different abilities, all coming together as one, and that's how it should be. And it's so different when you have a child. See this, oh, you got a child now. Oh, well, your husband or your boyfriend walked out, you're meant to just cope on your own. That's not the way it should be. It takes a village, and that's just a true thing. So I do worry, will my village be there? Even though I know in the back of my mind they will be. I've got good support, I've got good family, I've got good friends, I've got a good husband there. And this is not me saying, oh, I'm expecting everyone to raise my son. No, me and my husband will be the main caregivers, but obviously family and friends will be a part of that child's life, and that's healthy. That's just the way it should be, and it helps the parents out so they don't feel overwhelmed, they don't feel alone, they don't feel that they're not good enough, because people could be like, there's so much judgment, which I've always knew, but from becoming a mum and seeing what I've seen online these past year or so, even becoming a dog mum, the judgment you can get from having a dog, like from other people who own dogs, there's flipping dog mum shaming too. It's just, it goes on. It shouldn't be like that. It should just be everyone helps each other out and supports each other and doesn't like look down. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's this video done. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again for the next one. Stay gorgeous. God bless. Bye.